Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the F5 Weekend Refresh. We've got some really interesting stories today and some cool updates to talk about. Please make sure to hit the like button if you're enjoying the video and subscribe to us for more weekly gaming videos. With all of that being said, let's dive right in here. Starting off here, I have a bit of sad news. Earlier this week, legendary developer Hidetaka Suehiro announced his retirement from the video game industry. You may know him better by his pseudonym Swery65, but regardless, you probably know of his work. Suehiro is the developer responsible for the surreal and quirky adventure of Deadly Premonition. On Twitter, he stated, "Unfortunately, I retired from Access Games after all. However, don't worry because my health condition is getting to be fine. I love you." The note about his health is good to know. Last year, Suehiro took a break from developing video games to focus on his health. Since then, he has kept in touch with fans over social media and spent a lot of time writing. So while it is sad to see the industry lose such a great developer, we wish him luck and happiness in his future endeavors. Now, as always, it's time to mix in some VR news. Despite excellent sales, the price of the new PlayStation VR is dropping in the UK from $349.99 to $332.49. The VR headset is selling out time and time again, but for some reason, Sony has decided to lower the cost. While this is great news for consumers, it raises a few questions. The biggest question being, why would Sony lower the price of a product that's selling out? That seems like it would hurt Sony and appears as though they're voluntarily throwing money out of the window, but that might not be the case. Microsoft hasn't announced a VR headset for Xbox yet. There might be one coming in the future, but the Xbox guys and girls want to wait until VR has improved significantly. Perhaps Sony is doing some price drops in order to take control of the market before Microsoft has a chance to develop any kind of VR of their own. While Sony may end up ruling console VR, there are plenty of PC gamers with VR headsets as well. In fact, a new VR-ready laptop by Alienware has recently hit the market. It's a 13-inch gaming notebook that comes in 4 different models. You can check out the builds on our website, but each model comes with a GTX 1060, an infrared camera that supports Windows Hello biometric facial recognition technology with Tobii eye tracking software, and of course, there's also an improvement in the battery. This time around, gamers will enjoy on-the-go play with a 76 watt-hour lithium-ion battery. So I'm not too sure how to start this story off, so I'm just going to throw it out there. Tim Miller, the director behind Deadpool, has started working on a live-action CGI hybrid Sonic the Hedgehog movie. It's going to be a family film, of course, and it's probably going to be absolutely awful. I have no idea. The film industry has come quite a very long way, and they've been able to pull off a few interesting things. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm not putting any eggs into this basket at all. Next up, we have some changes coming to the Steam marketplace. For years now, developers have used screenshots of concept art, quotes, and awards to help promote their game on their Steam page. People look at these pictures, buy the game, and then end up being angered by the quality of it. Valve is now stating, "We ask that any images you upload to the screenshots section of your store page should be screenshots that show your game." This means avoiding using concept art, pre-rendered cinematic stills, or images that contain awards, marketing copy, or written product descriptions. Please show customers what your game is actually like to play. This should help consumers have a better idea what they're purchasing and allow more people to trust what the developers are showing them. Scott Cawthon, the mind behind Five Nights at Freddy's, has taken a stand recently to defend his toxic community. He wants people to focus on the good things about the fanbase, not the negatives. Scott came out and said, "People sometimes complain when I ban someone for criticizing the fanbase. I'll be honest, I do get triggered when people start griping about the toxic fanbase because I think it's an unfair generalization. The truth is that every fanbase has its toxic side, and that's because every fanbase has a variety of ages, a variety of opinions, and a variety of maturities. There will always be people who irritate you, inside and outside of any fanbase. That's not a fault of the fanbase, it's a fault of people, and we're all guilty. I understand that you want to stand up for your community and support those that support you in return, but if Scott is okay with toxic players, then all the power to him. A lot of people hate toxicity, and I totally understand why, but it's going to be in every single game everywhere. Scott is simply embracing it and telling people to not let it bother them so much." Call of Duty Infinite Warfare has announced 2 new difficulties to their single-player campaign, the first of which is Specialist. In this game mode, the campaign goes normally, but there are some slight changes. Number 1, you can only heal with nano shots. There's no health regeneration in this mode. 2, your helmet is your only protection from headshots. They will take permanent damage and will need to be replaced. 3, both nano shots and helmets take up equipment slots, so remember to equip them in your loadout on the Retribution before each level. And 4, if you get shot in the legs, it will impact your movement. If you get shot in either arm, it will impact your ability to use equipment or aim down sight. Also, your weapon can be shot out of your hands. The other mode is called YOLO, and I'm not making this up. You get all the things that are included in Specialist, but if you die, the campaign is completely over. I'm not too sure these modes are going to be a big hit. But in addition to this, the game also doesn't support crossplay for Windows users. Not even for PC to console, but rather PC to PC. If you have Windows 8 and your friend has 8.1, you can't play together. Plus, if you buy the game from the Windows Store, you can't play with people that have the Steam copy. It's going to be a very boring online experience for the Windows Store junkies out there. The next story is a little short, but Ubisoft is still giving away free copies of games. You have to have a Uplay account, but this has been going on for so long now that I'm sure you all know the drill. This time around, they've released Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon as November's free game. Make sure you hop on over to the website and download it as soon as possible. Keep your eyes open for even more deals in the future, as Ubisoft certainly hasn't been shy about releasing some gems. Continuing on with Ubisoft, they're getting a little worried about Watch Dogs 2. This week, they announced that the game's pre-order numbers weren't quite as high as they projected. With the game set to launch in just a couple of weeks, Ubisoft was hoping that the game would have more sales locked down at this point in time. Despite pre-orders being low, that doesn't mean the game will be a failure. Far Cry, one of the most popular games just a few years back, had low pre-order numbers but ended up skyrocketing after release. While the number of people pre-ordering the game is definitely important, it's the final number of copies sold that actually matters. Watch Dogs 2 has received some great reviews and has gotten extremely positive feedback. The thought of the game doing poorly doesn't really take up a lot of space in my mind. I believe the game is going to do very well, and people might just be waiting for a Christmas sale before they lock down their copy. Personally, I don't pre-order games anymore ever. I used to when I was younger, but now that I've lost the childish I need it now mentality, I'm able to wait a few more weeks to save some cash. The Nihon Falcom RPG Xanadu Next has finally launched worldwide on Windows PC via Steam, GOG.com, and the Humble Store. While we've touched upon this before, it's important to reiterate that the game originally released in Japan in 2005, so in reality it's been well over 10 years that Westerners are able to play this game. The title, which is part of the Dragon Slayer series and a spiritual sequel to Xanadu, focuses on exploration and a knight who is revived thanks to ancient magic. In return, he must seek out a legendary sword called Dragon Slayer. Xanadu Next drowns the player in a medieval 3D environment and an ominous soundtrack composed by JDK. What's most interesting is the setting, which is the European-inspired Harlech. Players will be able to explore all sorts of terrain: icy mountains, fiery caverns, mystical forests, and other areas that would be considered exotic. What's also a feature to enjoy and thrive upon are the secrets the world offers, including some special tablets and letters. As for the battle system, expect some real-time play thrown in with a wide variety of weapons, each with a unique skill that requires enhancement through leveling. For further customization, guardians can be attached to the player's soul, offering passive effects, and players have the option to level down for the purposes of point redistribution. EA is coming out now and talking a little bit about the future of Battlefield 1. There's a brand new free update called Giant Shadow that will be released to the public sometime in December. EA made a statement saying, "Prepare to take part in the Battle of the Cell in the cold autumn of 1918. Here the fighting moves out of the trenches and into open country where a massive crashed airship casts its shadow onto the battlefield. The British forces have broken through the Hindenburg Line and are now in pursuit towards an important railway center. Fierce infantry and tank engagements ensue on the open ground and riverbanks alongside the Katsu-Wassigny Railway, where an armored train can still turn the tide. Hopefully the free updates keep on rolling here and microtransactions don't come in to destroy another promising title. I've got my fingers crossed, but I'm sure sooner or later we'll be falling victim to loot boxes priced at $2.99 apiece." Well, wrapping things up today, the final piece of the Sombra puzzle was revealed. It was a strange website in all Spanish for a company called Lumerico. Players had to crack the code in order to get all the necessary terminal commands. They ended up figuring it all out, and Sombra is now on her way. Even if they didn't figure it out, it wouldn't have really mattered. The speed of it meant absolutely nothing because Sombra was going to be revealed at BlizzCon no matter what. I personally think this was a stupid move by Blizzard because at this point the name Sombra brings anger to my soul rather than joy. Anyway, Sombra is coming to the PTR on Tuesday and her kit is available on the website. If you want to check out all of her abilities, make sure you check the page and do your research. The game is going to be very different once Sombra hits the scene, and I think she's going to be extremely overplayed. Make sure you put your team comps together and start strategizing now so you can shut her down. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more of these. Maybe even leave a comment down below if you want to share some of your own opinions on these stories. Until next time, this is AS Unreal, and we hope to see you soon.